Hi, my name is Dr. Akila Willery, and welcome to the Melanated Midlife Podcast, where Black midlifers share stories of how to live your boldest life after turning 50. Hello, and welcome to the Melanated Midlife Podcast, where today we're going to talk money and all the kind of ways that you need to be a little bit better with money, but with some love, because Angela Brock is a certified financial coach that is also a multi-published author that is going to share all this goodness with us. We've been sitting here talking, and I will say that we've talked about everything but money. So I want to get a lot of Angela's story out because I'm going to assume that this money expertise, you weren't just born with it last Friday and decided, I think I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these stories, and I will say myself included in that, we are in these conversations worried about money, thinking that everybody else has money figured out. And sometimes we need to be out loud with educating and sharing the tips and tricks. So first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
And there's some things y'all will figure it all out because we're sitting here talking and there's way too many dots that are connecting.
This was God ordained.
Very much so. Very much so. So I don't take that for granted, not one bit. So I appreciate it. And I'm really eager to hear all the stuff. So first off, before I go any further, we've got both Angela's books that are here on display. So tell the audience a little bit about what they can expect from each book.
So with Broken, and Breakthrough, it's a great book to get your mind ready. I believe that anything that you want to do that's hard, you need to shift your mindset first. So that book will help you realize that with a mindset shift, you could do hard things. And because I love financial coaching and budgeting and all things shifting your money, this is a practical budgeting tips book that will give you the day-to-day, no matter where you are, no matter what your financial situation is, no matter what your goals are, how to reach that goal. I love this one because, I love both of them. I'm a little biased, honestly, because it doesn't matter where you are, whatever your goal is, and it's timeless. So it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter what the legislation is. This book will help you get there. So if you're not ready to buy a home now, whenever you are, there's something in here for you. So that's what you can expect for both of these books.
That is awesome. And we're going to link in the show notes how they can get directly to ordering their own copy of the book. But even with this, I will say, I'm looking at all of this on display. It's easy to get intimidated when I'm coming into a conversation like this to talk about money. But there's a lot of people like me that are probably saying, ooh, I am 50 something years old. I don't have what I need to retire. I don't have all the things that I thought I would at this age, but I'm sure I'm not alone.
You're not alone. And a lot of people are realizing, because outside is expensive now. So a lot of time most people enter into the workforce, they buy into this idea that after a certain number of years, there's going to be a pot of money that will help me to live the rest of my life. And the reality is, for one reason or another, that is not the case. And so the harsh realization that I think people are having to face is they're not prepared for retirement. And people are working longer and they're working harder, and money is not going as far. And so if that's you and that's your situation, I would say you need to know your numbers. What type of lifestyle do you want to have when you retire? And how are we really going to make a plan to make that happen? Housing, cutting back expenses, whatever that is that needs to happen. The longer we take to really look at our numbers and assess it, the further kind of we're in that hole. So I would say stop, have the conversation, be honest about where you are financially. Be honest and realistic about where you want to go and how much it's going to cost for you to live that life in retirement after you stop working your corporate job or whatever that is, and make a plan.
What are you seeing with people that come to your doorstep looking for your help? What are some common things about their story
Yeah.
that you're noticing?
They know that they need to do better. They know
Mhm.
that they need to do more. They
Mhm.
know that they should be budgeting. People are very aware that they are not doing as much as they could be to
Mhm.
be in a better financial situation. And they are also equally aware that they are not willing to make the sacrifices that it requires to move them from where they are to where they desire to be. And
Yeah.
they will very candidly tell me all of the reasons as to why.
The reasons are excuses.
Oh, I think that they're valid reasons, some of
Mhm.
them. I would not just say that they're excuses. I mean, they are. Let's be clear. But I think that they're reasons, right? So
Uh-huh.
something has happened that got them behind.
Mhm.
Um, and they are really aware of what that was.
Mhm.
What they feel like, though, is they don't have what it takes to move themselves out of that situation. And that's the trick of the enemy.
Mm.
So people will say, I lost my job,
Mhm.
or I had to move. And for whatever reason, that's a true event that happened in their life, and it got them behind.
Mhm.
And so now they're living check to check, or credit cards are bridging their income, or they're behind, or now they're taking care of a child or a grandchild or aging parents. All of things that are outside of their control.
Wow.
And that's true.
Mhm.
But with a shift in mindset and some behaviors and some conversations and some hard no's, they can literally change their life. That's the piece that people struggle with. They don't realize that they actually have what it takes to change their financial situation. And
Mm.
that's a harder conversation. They don't believe that it can happen for them. And I often tell people it's a faith issue.
Tell me about
You,
that.
so people that come to me, they're all believers. Hello Breakthrough it's a faith-based company.
Mhm.
So they believe in God. They know who God is. But I believe it's a faith issue because you don't trust him like you say you trust him.
Mhm.
Otherwise, this would be an area that you would surrender to him. If you believe that he's the God that's in control of all things, that's all powerful, that's all knowing, that loves you, that's going to take care of you, and you trust that Jeremiah 29:11, that I have a plan for you, then this would be an area that would be a little easier for you to blindly trust him. And so
Mm.
when you don't, and you see that the Lord is not moving in this area, and you're not willing to give this over to him, it's a faith issue.
And I think you might be the first person that I've heard combining faith and finances.
Absolutely.
I think, at least from my ears, they
Mhm.
seem to be separate conversations,
Right.
but they're not. I
They're
mean,
not. And or at least I would say they shouldn't be.
mhm.
And I think when we separate them, you actually are separating what God can do in this area of your life. It's no different than anything else. If you are dating someone and you meet them and it's all butterflies, the minute you bring God into the conversation now, or into the relationship, you can have a different conversation, a different outcome, right?
Mhm.
The earlier you do that, the better off it'll be. You'll see the things,
Mm.
you're aware. It's the same with your finances. And I think a lot of times, for one reason or another, faith has been removed from finances and it's
Mhm.
been perverted. So a lot of times when we think about finances in the church,
Mhm.
it's from tithing and what we're going to give to the church. And so now, as a method of, or as a recourse of control,
That is true.
yeah,
That's so
as
true.
a place to control, I can control what I do with my money. I can control who I give it to. I'm not going to give it to the church. I don't know what they're doing with it. Right?
Right.
And so we take the Lord out of it. And then there's this idea, and I don't know where it came from, that if as a Christian, I must live a meager lifestyle.
Ooh, okay. So yeah,
Right?
I will also add to that because I come from the education world.
Okay.
And that is the same mindset within education, that you've chosen this path. Therefore, you're not trying to ever worry about money.
Right.
And
Right. Because you're doing this out of love, as if you
yes,
can't pay
it's a
your bills. It's a
calling.
calling. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I need to be broke.
Thank you.
And it's not biblical.
Mhm.
Right? But we don't, ever take the time to really see what the Lord, for ourselves, what he says about money. And so we've removed him from the conversation outside of tithing and giving. That's it. And then he's front and center, but not from sacrificial giving, not from obedience, not because it was his first. No. And it's, to me, once you bring him into the conversation, well, Lord, what do you want me to do with this money? It's the money that you're making from the job that you prayed that he would give you. Right?
Yes.
You prayed.
Yes.
Cried.
Yes.
Lord, bless me.
Yes.
I'm going to get this interview. I got the job. Praise the Lamb. We go out, we celebrate.
Yeah.
But then when that check comes, he's not first. He's not second. Oftentimes he's last.
Whoa. That is interesting.
And so when we start presenting it, and I present the truth, and I'm like, so I think this is a faith thing. Do you trust him? You trust him with what you can control, what you feel like you can do, what fits within your budget, but then you ask him to multiply it. You ask him to magnify it. You ask him to do all of these things, but you haven't surrendered it to him.
Yeah.
Because you don't really trust him. And if we could just start there, then, okay, cool. So what does it look like to trust the Lord with your finances? What does it look like to understand what he wants you to do with your money?
Yeah.
Once we get that and we're speaking the same language, then we could talk about a budget. Then we could talk about expenses and income. We could talk about investing. But if we're not talking about, because it's hard for me to really tell you, oh yeah, you could take $250 every paycheck and this is how we're going to invest. We're going to buy some stock. Not when your first thought is, I got to pay mortgage, I got to pay rent. What about these bills?
Is that the secret to flip the priority list with that paycheck? Because that is, I find myself in that same situation. I know the paycheck is coming on a certain day, so I'm doing bill paying immediately. And whatever is left, I'll worry about once the bills are paid.
I would absolutely flip it. And I feel like if you consider the Lord first, seek ye first his kingdom, everything else, he'll take care of it. It's already done. I think if we could flip it, we would see some increase. We would see, and if we don't, that's not a God problem. That's a us problem. But I would say flip it. Be intentional about your spending. And I think it's harder when you're older and you've already made some decisions without them.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's where some of the more popular plans out there, like, that we know with Uncle Dave, it doesn't work, right? Because we're like, well, how are we gonna do that? I've already committed to this car loan. I already have the mortgage. I'm already over leveraged. And I would just say there's a way. And if you trust the Lord, whatever you feel like you've lost will be redeemed and restored. He's done it before. He'll do it again. Yeah. And this is not just a Job story, right? Because I think we like to, he did it for Job, he could do it for me. I would tell people, look back over your own life. Think back in your 20s and some decisions that you made financially and what you've done and what you've accomplished, what you've made, what you've lost. And you're standing here today, redeemed, doing better, right? You survived. If he did it then, and he was gracious then, and he was forgiving then, and he was merciful then, you don't have to go to Job. Job is great. Just look back over your own life. And if he did it then, he'll do it again. And I think we forget because we feel like we're older. We should know better. And we should.
I look like I've got it together.
Because we dress it up really well.
Yeah.
But the trust comes from the inside. The faith comes from the inside.
So, and I'll even, make the parallels between, my husband has this terminology, new Christian, where we do come out completely made over and we're going to tell everybody else all the goodness that I'm about and that I'm doing, but there's always a backstory. And I say with everybody's journey, whether we're talking about finances, if we're talking about our faith, there's always an origin. And I want you to talk a little bit more about how you got to be this expert, because I'm sitting here, again, I was very honest, I was sitting here with a finance person. I'm going to
Yeah.
say something wrong. I'm going
No.
to admit that I'm not all
Good.
together with it.
And as you should, because that's
Yeah.
the first place. God can't fix what we pretend to be, right? And I've heard that before. So if you don't have it all together and you're sitting and the Lord puts someone in your path, let that layer go.
Yeah.
Ask the questions. And I think the minute we admit, hey, I don't know about investing, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the first thing, then now someone that the Lord has provided, like put in your path, can say, well, this is what you can do. Or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, let me connect you with someone who can.
Yeah.
So for me, to your point, I grew up poor.
Mm-hmm.
I knew we didn't have no money, and I'm very honest about that. My parents didn't talk about money. We knew we didn't have any because there were restrictions on what we can get. Don't ask for this. We don't have McDonald's money.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Don't go in there asking for anything.
right. And I learned about budgeting honestly just from observing, right? So you're going to learn either it's intentional or not. And so I took that, whatever I thought I was going, I took that into adulthood, and I just did not know how to manage my money. I have had my cars repossessed
Mm-hmm.
multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where when we got out the car, we took everything with us, right? Because I just
Mm.
knew somebody was looking for it. I've done a midnight move. Do you know what a midnight
Oh,
move
yes,
is?
yes, I
Yes,
understand.
I
Yes.
queen of the midnight move. Um, I have done payday loans. I got a payday loan to pay off a payday loan,
Mm.
to the point where I remember very vividly going 2.5 weeks, like, because I'm like, I got to end this cycle.
Yeah.
So we just gonna have to, whatever we got left is what we have left because I got to end this. And I did that all the way up until, and I love this story because it's redemptive until my mid 30s. Like,
Mm.
let's be very clear. Like, this is not
Yeah.
I was in my 20s, and it's like you give yourself a pass because you're in your 20s. Nope. I tell people that I failed financial peace twice.
Oh, that's
Of Dave Ramsey's
yes,
program, and I don't
yes.
even know if you could fail it, but if there was a failure grade, it was me. I got it twice. I did what I needed to do to get a house. I didn't do what I needed to do to be financially sound and ready for a home. Like, I
Gotcha.
just didn't know. I got enough for the down payment, not for all of the bills that came after. Um, and it took me a while to realize what budgeting really is. I thought it was restriction. I thought it was no. I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was you can't have this. And
Mm.
now I know that that's something different. And it took a divorce. It took me being denied credit. And it took me struggling to pay off a car that didn't belong to me anymore,
Okay.
to really grasp, if I don't change something, I work really hard to be this broke. Like, it didn't make sense. I was
Uh-huh.
making well over 6 figures, but I was living check to check.
Which we don't say out
We
loud
don't.
enough.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. Nobody knew I was struggling. Nobody knew the times that I almost lost my home to foreclosure. Like, nobody knew that I filed bankruptcy. Nobody had a clue that I couldn't buy groceries. Nobody knew that I was leveraging that one secured credit card to pay my light bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no one had a clue. And
I can relate on the grocery story. Yes.
yeah, we at the counter and I'm putting stuff back
Mm-hmm.
because I cannot afford it, or just praying that it'll go through and we'll
Yeah.
just deal with the NSF. No, not a
Mm-hmm.
clue.
Mm. Okay, so I'm listening to this, and I think what is striking for me is you're in a well-paying job. You look
Oh, I'm
like
traveling.
somebody that's
I'm
got it
taking the
together.
pictures. It's on social media. I'm
Yeah.
going on vacations. I am hosting
Mm.
things at my home.
Yeah.
And I am literally living, not even check to check. I am living beyond check to check.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the truth.
So what changed? I mean, where do you get to, or was there like a rock
Oh,
bottom
for
moment?
sure. Yeah. So I got a divorce. And I
Mm.
wanted to go and buy myself a pool because that's what you do when you get a divorce. You go and you want to
You
spend
get a pool.
You get a pool. You want to buy yourself something, right? And I was sitting there, and we had just come from vacation, me and my kids and my sister, and I had this appointment, and I'm there, and I'm just, because the last time I checked my credit, we was sitting at about a 730, 740.
Okay,
right,
all right,
I'm just out here.
Gotcha.
Girl, I said everything. That man typing in them numbers, and he was just like, yeah, so we won't be able to move forward today. And I was like, well, why not? Just shame. I'm showing everybody, the kids, everybody, all it, because I'm big money now.
There must be a mistake.
There was got to be a mistake. Not to me, darling. Girl, and that man slid that paper over there and just kind of circled that 540.
Oh, okay.
And was just like, and I was like, wait, what? What happened? I had no clue, because I was at least paying my bills on time after this divorce, right? Whatever. At least the mortgage, everything else was, up for negotiation. But I didn't know that my credit had taken a hit to that level. I just was not even, it wasn't even top of mind to check.
Yeah.
I'm going to work. So I go and I'll pull my credit report, and I'm just like, well, now how we get here? And at the time, I was making, I know I was making at least $130,000 with a 537 credit score. Let me be very clear and honest.
Yeah.
And I want to clock this for you all, so you all know, like, I love this story. You see I'm smiling? That's because I ain't ashamed. I don't care what y'all say. This was 2017. When this happened. So this just happened.
Okay.
Hey, do the math. This was 2017.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So so the amount of transformation that happened. And
this just happened. This all just happened. This is new. This ain't old money. This ain't old testimony. 2017. And I would say that was my rock bottom. And I was just like, okay, so what do I need to do from here? And I pulled my credit reports. I disputed what I could. But there was one thing that was dragging that down. And I love this story. And it was a car that me and my ex-husband had bought together.
Yeah.
Then in the divorce decree on the paper, it said belonged to him. And so I thought that's all I needed. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wasn't paying it. Or he would pay it and then skip a payment and then pay it. And so my credit was just doing this little thing. Yeah. I know. God. And so now I'm faced with, it's not even my fault that I'm in this situation.
Yeah.
The stuff that I'm paying, I might be not paying all of it, but it's not late. So my credit score is not even my fault. Oh. But now I am having to be responsible for it.
That would burn like
I would, and for 2 years. Well, I'm sorry, with 2.5, almost 3 years. 3 years, actually. Come on, math. 3 years, I dealt with that cycle. Ooh. Of, so what can I control? I can't control that. So what can I control? What on here can I do? I want this pool. Maybe this is a sign. I'm going to pay my student loans off. So you see,
you see how I sat up? Look, you said I paid off my student loans.
So let me tell you, girl, man. Well, I want a pool, and then I know how much it's gonna cost. Well, I can't do that and a student loan payment. So this is what I can control. I'm gonna focus on that, and as a reward to myself and my obedience, then I'll get the pool because that'll help my credit. Right? That's my math. I don't. 1 + 1 is okay.
I hear you.
So that's what I focused on. I paid something off, and I was like, okay. At the time, I had about $58,000 left. So that was the goal. Okay. I'm gonna pay my student loans off, and at the end of that, I'm gonna get this pool. That's my reward. Ooh. And that started in 2017, and so I'm paying it off, and I'm aggressive with it. Like we I think a $700 payment, and I'm like go to the grocery store. This is what I have allotted. Nope, I'm putting that back. It's a difference now. I'm putting it back out of choice, not out of shame. So, right? Because I'm sticking to my budget.
Yes.
And I'm going to do this. I'm intentional. I go to TJ Maxx. This is what I said I'm buying. Well, would you like to open up this cart? No, ma'am. I'm trying to pay my student loans off. Thank you.
Yeah.
Instead of me stopping at Salada and paying $13.87 for a salad.
Were you following me yesterday?
We're going home, right? And what I would do is I would take that $13.87 that I was about to spend, and I'm going to put it out. And here's what's funny.
Redirecting what you were already going to.
I was going to spend it. So let me spend it like I said I was
You
going
had
to.
already mentally parted ways with that money.
Might as
So
well
it might
just,
as well go
I
to
would
the
log in
thing.
from my
Oh,
phone in the parking lot of Salada or whatever,
I
and I would just pay Fed loan that money. You was about to spend $25. You was about to spend 50 to whatever it was, and that's how I did it. Here's what's funny. I remember getting an email. Congratulations, you paid off 5,000 and some change this month.
mhm.
I said, who did that? That was never the goal. I never set out to be debt free. I
You had
I
something you
I
wanted.
wanted a pool.
That carrot was dangling,
Dangling. And
and
I
that
was
was your focus.
listen, I tithed and I paid off my student loans. And here's what's funny. I paid off my student loans. And when I got down to, I think I was $19,000, I said, wait a minute. And we're like at about 12 months in now.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, and I said, well, what else I could pay? Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
well, okay.
Yeah, from 58 to about 19. It took me about a year.
That's it?
That's it. I was aggressive.
And you're just at that point, you're not
Just
a financial expert.
no at
You're
all.
just dealing with your own
I'm just
household.
trying to figure it out. I cut
Okay.
back on spending. I put myself on a budget, and I wasn't even intentional. I I accidentally paid off $5,000 in a month. And when I say accidentally, because that was never the goal. I had no idea. They sent me this email, and I'm like, who did that? And I went back, and it was those $15 here, $100 here, $500 here. Birthday, all of the money I got for my birthday,
Mhm.
I put it there. People gave me Visa gift cards. They knew what I wanted. I put it towards that debt.
My goodness.
And when I got that, I was like, oh, if I could do this,
I
who else
mean,
I owe?
yeah.
And then I literally, it happened. And I said, I'm going to be debt free. Outside of my mortgage, that was the goal. Now I'm going to just pause and just say, there's this car that's still lingering over here.
Yes.
I don't ever, I want you to remember, I'm not in control of that. It doesn't belong to me. I don't have it. But that debt is hurting my credit.
Mm.
I'm doing all these phenomenal things and I'm paying it off.
Mhm.
And this is still here. So I would pay off something, my credit would go up. We in the
Yeah.
sixes now. I'm
Mm.
rocking and rolling.
Mm.
And then he would forget to pay it and I'm back down. And this was a roller coaster that I would do for years.
I am mad for you.
Girl, do you hear me?
You might be all healed from it, but
Right?
I'm mad
I
for
was
you right
so
now.
frustrated and upset because I can't control this. Now, there might have been a text or two, like, what is you doing, brother?
Mhm, mhm.
But I can't, there's nothing I can do about it.
Girl, okay.
So I'm paying off my debt.
Mhm.
And so then, and I don't know if you know about the courts of heaven and being able to go and seek the Lord in the courts. And so one of my friends finally, because everybody at the church, they know about, I'm trying to get out of debt,
Mhm,
student
mhm.
loans, right? And they know about this car situation. And I done talked to all the credit gurus and we
Mhm.
done wrote the people and I done sent in the divorce decree, which is how I found out that that wasn't enough.
Mm.
And at the time they were like, well, you co-signed, so you're responsible.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so I said in 2019, and I'm like, there's all this stuff that I want to do. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm making some headway. So now people know I'm being very honest about my situation. So I'm telling them,
Mhm.
and they're walking this journey with me. So now I'm doing a Bible study about finances.
Mm.
And I'm showing them, hey, this is working for me, right? I am in control of my spending. This is 2019 at this point.
Mhm.
And the Lord tells me in October, everything that you want to do, you'll be able to do and you won't need credit for it. This is October 2019.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'll write this down. And then I flippantly said, well, you must about to give me some money because I know if you don't have credit, you need more money, right? Because
Right.
in my mind, that's what I mean. Because at this time, I'm like, I'm doing all of this. The house that I live in right now
Mhm.
is in the name of me and my ex-husband. And I want to refinance. And you need good credit to refinance. You see how, okay, all
Mm.
right, so cool. Now I'm doing all the things.
Mhm.
All right. Fast forward, I'm following this plan. This is October 2019. And then in March of 2020, the Lord tells me to pay the car off.
The car you don't own.
The car I don't own.
That has been bringing down your credit.
That car.
That someone else is forgetting to pay the bill.
And driving.
It was put on you.
The Lord told me
to pay off that car.
To pay the car off.
Okay. I don't know. Would you have been sitting as calmly as this in that moment?
I was at work.
Because I'm like, again, I'm mad. And this ain't my story.
And I knew it was the Lord because my flesh was on fire. And when he's telling me this by way of I was watching a sermon as I would do, and it was about sacrificial giving because I had mastered tithing now. Tithing is, we do this now. We tithe now. That's a given. And this was, Michael Todd was talking about sacrificial giving. And I remember being at work and I knew it was the Lord. And then I was like, I'm not doing that. And through my time, yes, you are. Trust me. Ooh. And I said, what more do you want from me? I have given enough. And he says, this is not for him. This is for you. And then he told me, through this sermon, and I'm listening, he was just like, I need you to do this for him. What else you want me to do for him? Yeah. And now I'm like, I text my best friend and I tell her, SOS, I need prayer. I go out to the car because I ain't working. And I'm literally trying not to cry and cuss, if I'm going to be very honest. We go out to the car and I tell her what the Lord says. And these are people who had been walking this with me since 2017. So they knew. They knew. If nobody else knew, they knew. And in the car we prayed. And she says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to have to do it. I know that. Being obedient it's not an option anymore. Yeah. So I knew I was going to do it. And I said, I need you to pray that the Lord changes my heart. Because I'm not going to be out the coin and a blessing. Oh. I'm not going to do that. So and so let me just give some back history. I was expecting some money and I was anticipating. I had done some work because my 9-to-5 was not paying all this debt and my mortgage. Okay. So I had done some contracting work. I'd done some web design stuff or whatever. And I was expecting this money, and that money that I was expecting was going to help me to pay off my debt, but it was also going to buy my daughter a car because my daughter needed a car. Okay. And so I knew at any moment, I thought I had 2 weeks, right? So my time frame was, we got 2 weeks for the Lord to change my heart. So I got some time for this to process. Listen, okay?
You told the Lord, I need 2 weeks to back out of whatever you're saying I need to do.
In Jesus' name. Because I didn't want to do it. And I felt like it was unfair. I felt like I wasn't seen. I felt like he didn't care for me in this moment. It felt like I'm doing all of the right things. And here is yet another example of where someone else comes first.
You're taking from me.
You're taking something from me.
I'm being obedient and you're taking this from me. Okay.
And I was frustrated. And this was a Monday. And I had to go home and lead a Bible study group of women where I'm walking them through freedom and trusting the Lord. And so I go home and I'm in tears all the way there. And I tell them, and I have to be honest. And when I say everybody knew about this car situation, the folks knew because the folks was praying. And I just said, I just need you all to just pray with me. Yeah. And before the end of that night in prayer, the Lord has shifted my heart. And I was just like, all right, here we go.
Let's go.
Let's go. And I go home. I go to Bible study. I go to bed. I wake up and I'm like, I need to go check the mail. I go check the mail. The money that was 2 weeks away is in the mailbox. And I couldn't do anything but laugh because it was never about the money. It was never really about the car. It was truly, do you trust me? Like you say you do. And I was walking the walk and I was talking the talk, but this would be the first time that I would be tested. And this was a test that I couldn't orchestrate. This was a test that I couldn't dream of. This was not something that I could do. This literally was, will you trust me?
Yeah.
So that Tuesday, I endorsed that check. I deposited that check Wednesday. I called them folks. That car was paid off Wednesday. Here's the thing. The Lord told me, now you can't say anything. Because I wanted to send a text message. Let me tell you what I done
Yeah.
for you. Thus saith the Lord. The Lord said, be quiet.
The Lord would have some trouble with me.
And I was like, I was so confused at what he was doing. I had no idea.
I'm sitting here listening, and I know that there's a happy ending.
It is.
But I'm sitting here listening, and I'm upset for you.
As you should be. As my friends were. And that was walking this out in real time. And I knew it wasn't just for me. This wasn't just for me. It wasn't just for my daughter. It wasn't just for my friends. But I didn't know how he was going to use this. Now, I want you to check the time. This was March 2nd, 2020.
2020.
2 weeks later, the world shut down from COVID.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah.
And I worked. I was debt-free not even 4 months after that. Completely debt-free. So when I talk about I paid off over $86,000 worth of debt in 16 months, it was from October to, I would say, so from 2017, the Lord told me that in October, I was debt-free not even 6 months later.
And that final wail of a debt that it wasn't even yours.
It wasn't even mine.
Is it that got you over the hump?
Wasn't even mine. And when the Lord said it was that he wanted to use me for him, it was for him. This debt, and I don't know what happened in his life. We're not in a relationship. I don't know. And if I'm going to be very honest, I don't care. Right? Let's be clear.
Yeah, his life is not your business.
It's not. But I know that I shudder to think if I wouldn't have been obedient. Because out of that, Hello Breakthrough was born. So now I can sit here and I know what it's like to do the hard thing. I know what it's like to do something, to be responsible and have to be accountable for something that you had no control over.
Oh,
I can tell that testimony now. You can't tell me about what the Lord won't do. In a global pandemic, when people were shutting down, I made 3 times the income.
Okay.
And not just for a short period of time, for up to 2 years after that, I thrived.
You had a situation, and I will even say almost like there was something that was weighing you down. Absolutely. Something that had you planted to that spot.
Yeah.
You were dragging it through your daily life.
New relationship, new friendships. This was a piece of me that had to be surgically removed. My mindset and my attachment to money had to be surgically removed. There had to be a breaking. I walk a little different now because I've been broken, right? And I'm okay with that. But it had to. It was no other way. And I know that because I tried for years the other way, the traditional way. Well, it's not right. It's not fair. Call them, report it.
Poor me.
And I'm not saying that that's not true.
Right.
But when I trusted the Lord, I am telling you what he did.
He gave you all of the skills, the tools.
My daughter got a car. I paid off that car. And I want to be very clear. This was not a $1,400. This was an $8,900 debt. This is not chump change.
Girl, And see, I've even heard, conversations where I don't know what the data says, that a $500 emergency, that most people can't handle that. And I think about it that, there were many days where AC broke. Many days where we heard a leak coming from something and it was like, oh my God, what is this going to cost? And that's the norm.
That's the norm.
Ooh.
This was an $8,900 debt that I did not incur, paid off. And then to see the Lord restore and then some, out of that, Hello Breakthrough was born. My daughter got a car. I went on to be debt-free outside of my mortgage. You can't tell me. And now I know I can do hard things. So when he told me to step out on faith and start a financial coaching business, and all of my savings, now we're back down to zero. And go tell other people your story that I was ashamed about and be bold with it. Sure.
Yeah. Woo.
Sure.
And you just said one thing that got me, the shame that we attach.
Oh, for sure.
And we hide behind that shame based on financial decisions that may have been made. And I can speak for myself. I've made enough dumb mistakes, but I've also had other decisions where that just didn't feel like there was any other option. But still, to talk about that, I'll still say, God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe, or wow, I was so stupid.
Because
type
to tell
of things.
Somebody you paid off debt, you have to admit that you was in that much debt to begin with.
To say that I'm born again has to admit that you were pretty low at some point.
You were to say I hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I'm here. You have to be willing to share. And I'm not saying that to be careless, right? But because everybody, you can't trust everybody with your story.
Absolutely.
But I do believe that you have to be honest enough to be able to say, I was here and what the Lord did for me. And I think a lot of times when I talk with people don't know that they're in as much debt as their friends and their family have no idea that your loved ones are as over leveraged as they are. And maybe you have some idea that, things get a little tight, but people really have no idea. And even when they're on the other side of that, they're not willing to share that what the Lord did for them. They're still, and I will tell anybody that shame will keep you in this box. And while you're in that box, the Lord is not able to do for you what he really wants you to do because you're tied to that shame. I'm okay. I paid off that $83,000 in 16 months and it was phenomenal. And I was debt free for a while. And then I had to buy another car.
Wow.
For myself. And I was a debt. And here I am faced with, well, now you out here telling these folks to buy a cash car now. All right now. Now what you gonna do with that? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was very honest. Okay, guys, I need to buy a car. I'm doing research. Come along on this journey with me.
Oh, okay. Very transparent.
Very transparent, but it's different now.
Yeah.
So now it's, okay, I don't have $68,000 saved up. No. That's not my story. So I can't pay cash. So here is my plan.
Oh, so you number one, you get to put your own lessons into practice.
Yes.
And let's take everybody along
on the journey,
so you can see it live
at 5. Let's go.
Oh, okay, I love that.
So this is what I'm looking at. This is how much it costs. This is where we are. This is what I want. This is what I decided.
Yeah.
It's a journey. Let's go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so number one, I love that. I mean, because if I'm hearing your story, number one, I understand what inspired you to do this work with, because it does become hard work at that point. But then the other part is, here I am as the expert, and I've had a very personal, similar situation where I coach people with career transitions, and I got laid off. So I then had to put my money where my mouth was. Hey guys, this is what you need to do to find your next thing. Nothing I did was working like I thought. And I did hide behind that shame for many months. And like you said, and not everything is worth, telling your story in that moment, but there were so many lessons that came out of that. I was eager to share at that point. But even with people that are coming to you that may have similar stories, different stories or whatever, if you could just get one thing out of our heads, one thing that we need to drive home, what would that be for folks?
I would say is you're not alone. I think sometimes when we make financial decisions and then we find out that it may have been a poor financial decision, we feel like, I am the only one dealing with this. I am the only one that's experiencing this. I am the only one that makes these types of financial decisions, especially among my friends. And I can't share that I did this, or I made this bad investment, or I lost this money, or I bought this car and now I'm upside down, or I bought this house and and the taxes have tripled after the very first year, and I'm struggling. I can't tell them because I'm supposed to know better.
Yeah.
Or I'm supposed to have it all together. Or they're looking to me. I'm the one that helped them out. And now I can't help them because I'm over leveraged. So if I could tell, you're not alone. And there are so many other people that are dealing with this. And the minute you're honest, you would find the community and the safety and the support that you're actually praying for. If you would just share with someone that you trust that you need help.
Does everybody need a finance coach?
I would say yes.
Okay.
And it may not need to be someone that you're paying, but you need to talk to somebody who knows one or two things more than you do. And sometimes your girlfriends don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes your family doesn't. You need to talk to somebody with a fresh perspective that wants to see you succeed but doesn't have a dog in the fight. I think you could benefit from that.
Yeah.
And I would say for anyone listening, you can afford it. You have to budget for it.
Because that's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh my God, I need money, but now I got to go spend money to learn about my money.
Yeah. And if you could figure it out, you would have by now. So just reach out and let me know how I can help you. And I say it, and I very tongue in cheek, but the reality is, if you could have, you would have by now. And budgeting spreadsheets are on Google and they're free, but you don't use them.
Yeah.
Every banking app right now will analyze how you spend your money, but you don't pay attention to it.
You got to know your numbers.
You have to know your numbers. And so I'm saying that because the tools are literally at your fingertips, but you're not utilizing them. So they sit there and your financial situation doesn't change. And what a coach does is it helps you to shift your mindset about how you look at it and just guide you. I can't make you do anything.
Right.
I can hold you accountable. Right.
Yes. And put a spotlight on what needs to change.
And just show you and just have you think about, hey, maybe this is a spending trigger. Hey, I noticed that when you're really happy, you celebrate, and we overspend. Let's budget for that.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I noticed that when you're sad or you're frustrated or you're overwhelmed, you shop. Let's budget for that. Or I just want to, did you realize that? And what's the root of that?
Yeah.
Oh, you work too hard. You deserve it. Yes, let's be intentional. Let's not just be buying things on a whim. It'll be there on TikTok next month.
Let me ask you this, because you're actually hitting on something that has been of real interest right now. And I think about Gen Z, the 20-somethings that are entering the workforce, and the terminology. I didn't know the terminology until I started doing research about having a portfolio career. And this is something that you and I were touching on when we first sat down before we were recording, is about having multiple streams of income.
Yes.
And, it used to be just like having a second job, but that doesn't sound sexy enough. So now we say, I have a side hustle, I have a side business, or I do this, and then I also have my 9 to 5. But I talked initially about that with a little bit of embarrassment once upon a time, because and that was the thing, because to me it spoke an incorrect truth that you must not be making enough money in your real job. So now you have to get something else. But what I noticed about my own story, and I'm still learning, is that there's no limit to how much money you can make. And I can only budget so far. I can only, save and auto pay and other things so much. But if I want more money, I gotta go make more money. And my job is not necessarily wanting to negotiate every year. So speak on that for me.
I will just say, outside is real expensive, and to have the life that you desire. And we talked about that a little earlier about retirement. You need multiple streams of income. And I think the sooner we can grasp that, the better off we'll be. And Gen Z, they done figured it out.
Yes, they have.
They have figured it
They
out.
are loud and proud.
And it's going to set them up because they're not working 40, 50 years at one job anymore. They're not doing that. And people are not waiting until 67 to retire. And I think it's gotten to the point where people can't wait. Like you just can't. And so I would say to anyone out here, especially if you're trying to invest, if you're looking towards retirement, if you're wanting to travel more than once every other year, if you want to sit upstairs on the plane and not downstairs, okay, you need some extra income.
Yeah.
And I think it's and we talk about this a lot. The mindset has to change. Now, I will say this, in order to have another stream of income, that's not always feasible for everyone, right? If you have small kids, your wife, spouse, or whatever the case may be, and whatever hours you work in your 9 to 5, and I'm saying 9 to 5, but your primary source of income, that may not allow it. Right. So what I tell a lot of my breakthrough besties, which is my community, is what do you like to do that you do for free that we can charge?
Yes.
I can show you how to make some money with that, right? So for years, and I didn't even realize this because I'm gonna be honest, my 9 to 5 never was enough. Yeah. And I've always had to have a second job, and even when it was enough and I wasn't budgeting, it wasn't enough. So I've done taxes. I've worked for H&R Block.
Yes.
I've done funeral programs. I've done wedding programs. I've done church announcement programs. I've done it all because, and I did things that I could do from home. Yes, right? Because I can do anybody's wedding programs from
probably with tools that you already were paying for.
All I needed was a computer and a printer and some supplies, right? And I could do that when the kids were asleep. Yeah, and I enjoyed it, and it was easy for me, and I could do it and knock it out. Yeah, and it didn't take a whole lot. And so I'm now making extra income from the comfort of my home. Yes. And you guys can do that too. It's actually a lot more available now than it was back in 1997 or early 2000s. And so I would just say, but it's going to take a different level of sacrifice and discipline, because the primary job it's taxing mentally. And a lot of times you just want to go home and rest.
Yeah. And even here, because we've got both of your books here, and I've been very honest that I'm in a season of putting out my first book. And just like you say, budgeting my time differently, I have a full day of work responsibilities. I also have private clients that I work with in the evenings. Yes. So the only time that was allowed was early mornings. So I am a nerd I am a 5 a.m. person.
Are you?
And so setting that alarm where I'm rolling out of bed, that first hour of my awareness is in front of that laptop, going back through that manuscript. That's all I had. So like you said, I knew what was within my control, and that's how I chose to spend it.
And I would tell anybody, and it's interesting that you said budgeting your time, because I will tell people the same discipline that it takes for you to reach your financial goals is the same discipline that it's going to take for you to slim your waist. It's the same discipline for you to get closer to the Lord.
It's all gonna work.
It's all connected.
But you have to do it.
You've got to do it. And at 5 a.m., because I'm not getting up at 5, right? Unless the Lord wake me up, that's not my story. But maybe it's during your lunch hour.
I'm dropping my stuff. So I you are the one that I don't text first thing in the morning and say, hey, got it done.
No, that do not disturb is on, baby. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. But if 5 a.m. is not yours, that's not you. That's okay. You take a lunch break.
Yes.
Right? You have 15 minutes, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. You have to just be disciplined whenever you can. Maybe it's when the kids are in the bath. That's 30 minutes. Take it where you can. But if you are watching Netflix or scrolling instead of writing or budgeting or doing some squats.
That's just like your $13 salad, your $40 scarf or whatever. Yeah.
I'm just asking you to be intentional and reallocated towards your goals. Otherwise, you'll look up and it's time to retire and you won't be able to. And then you'll be frustrated and you'll blame someone else. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
You didn't fully exercise what was in your control.
Within your control.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because number one, when you think about what's within your control, and I'm reminded of a quote from Venus Williams, which I'm a huge fan of the Williams sisters. Serena, call me girl. But Venus Williams, very recently on social media, there was a quote about discipline. And she said, discipline equals freedom. And, people, they hear that from people like the Williams sisters who are true, uber competitive, elite athletes. And they're just like, oh, easy for her to say that. But she broke it down and she said, discipline is basically you keeping the promise you made to yourself. You're not paying that out. You're paying it back. Yeah. And if you say, I want that beach body, or I want the beautiful house, or the debt-free living, or whatever, there are steps to get there, and it takes discipline.
It's so good that you say that. And I say this often. We are really good about asking people to pay us back. Right? We loan money to people and we get really mad, big mad. I just made a post about this. And we have these uncomfortable conversations, but we insist that people pay us back. I want us to have that same energy with ourselves. So we say at the beginning of the year, we're going to do all of these things with our finances.
Guilty.
We're going to do all of these things with fitness.
Guilty.
We're going to read more and we're going to get closer to the Lord. And then we pay out. And we reallocate. Go get your stuff. Yeah. Go get what belongs to you. Yeah. If you said you wanted to go on a vacation, the money's got to come from somewhere. And if you have one pot, it's coming from that pot. So when you don't budget and you don't allocate the money, you're taking from yourself. You're loaning this money and you never pay yourself back.
My goodness.
And then you'll go on vacation, you put it on credit cards, you pay it off, whatever, and then you're frustrated.
You're going.
And now you're here.
Again
and
then
you'll
again.
say, budgeting didn't work. No, it worked.
Yeah.
You didn't work it. You owe yourself. Go get your stuff.
Ooh, okay. I could continue talking about this, but you have just put on a masterclass. But I do want to give you an opportunity to kind of land the plane with the one thing that everybody can be doing today to take back control.
I would say be intentional with your spending. And I love budgeting. That's my jam.
You're showing up to the brunch and say, hey, girls, we talking about.
It's not on your budget. Right. It's not weird. But I would say you can't help what you don't know. Right. And so I would say right now it's August. It's the first of the month. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but whenever you hear this, go right now and pull your numbers, know exactly where you are. And I would say wake up to your financial situation, and I'd stop being passive about it and be intentional with your spending. Be intentional with how you want to live your life. That would be the biggest thing. There's some tips and things that, if you join the Breakthrough Bestie community, that I can help you with, but it starts with your faith and trusting the Lord to manage, but also with your intentionality and your discipline. If you don't look at your numbers, you'll never know what they are. And then another year will go by, another month will go by, another day will go by, and you'll be in the same situation, and you'll look up, you'll be frustrated and disappointed. You'll still be shamed. All of that is within your control to stop it and change the trajectory of your cycle, of your breakthrough cycle. So that's what I would say. Go figure it out.
I love it. I love it. Y'all, I'm sitting here and I want to just let Angela, just keep going. Like, yeah girl.
Yeah,
but I know that we have to cut it at some point, but I do want you to, I'm staring at the books because I'm hoping that all the energy is coming here, but tell everybody how they can connect with you.
Yeah, you can connect with me on all platforms at Hello Breakthrough. If this resonated with you and you're like, hey, I want to know more, I want to do more, I want to get my finances in order, please reach out. You can email me at info@hellobreakthrough.com, hellobreakthrough.com, www. And let's talk about your financial goals. Whatever it is that you promised yourself that you were going to do, let's be intentional and let's go do it. There's still time this year to do it. So that's what I would say. Follow me. connect, like, subscribe, all the things.
Love it, love it. Thank you, thank you for
so
being
much.
here.
Absolutely.
I've learned number one, and then number two, I just hope that the questions that I'm asking, that enough comes through
Yeah.
of your expertise to at
Yeah.
least get people unstuck.
Yeah.
They may not have answered every
Everything,
financial
yeah.
question, but to at least remove some of the whatever obstacles they put in front
Yeah.
of themselves,
Yeah.
to reach out to an expert, to buy a book,
Yeah.
and just
Get
move one
started.
baby step forward.
Absolutely. Just one.
Okay. All right. Well, for everybody, like I said, we're going to link Angela's books in the show notes. And I mean, also how to get in contact with her if you want to do some one-on-one work. But I will also tell everyone here, any questions that you have, I mean, don't put all your business out there, but I would love for you to comment and just start a conversation, because I feel like the more we speak about this openly in community, the better off we're all going to be collectively. So put your comments in the chat. Let us know what is on your heart, and we'll just work on this a little bit together. So thank you for joining us for another episode of the Melanated Midlife Podcast. Look, I'm so emotional and wrapped up in this, the Melanated Midlife Podcast, where we have been taught by financial expert Angela Brock. So thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and definitely share this episode with someone who needs to hear it.